I don't know about you guys, but it is very rare for me to see a movie from beginning to end, and once those credits start rolling, do I ever sit down and be in awe of amazement of how good it was. But, rare exception, today I saw a movie that left me speechless, in awe of amazement of how good it was. Stick around because today I'm going to be reviewing an excellent movie. This and much more on Random Review Fridays. Welcome to Random Review Fridays, a segment on this channel where I typically choose two random movies to review, two movies that are completely unrelated but may share one or two things in common. For today's episode, I decided not to choose two movies, not four, not six, just one movie. And the reason for that is because this movie deserves all the attention of this video. And that movie is The Wind Rises. I had never heard about this movie before. This movie was recommended to me by a good friend and also a fellow YouTuber. Her name is Age Tortilla. She has a channel here on YouTube which I definitely recommend. It's AJL Tortilla. I'm gonna leave it on the description down below. She does reviews for Sailor Moon, the new series Sailor Moon Crystal, and I did a review with her for the last two episodes of the original series, Sailor Moon episodes 45 and 46 if I'm not mistaken. But she recommended to me this movie about a month ago, The Wind Rises, and it was just lying in my room for a while. I would try to watch it, but I never ended up sitting down and actually watching it. And I wish I had watched it a lot earlier, because this is a very, very good movie. I think the reason why I put out from watching it is because I'm not the biggest fan of anime. And I'm not nothing against anime, but most of the anime that I've seen is from Toonami. You know, Dragon Ball Z, some Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Pokemon, stuff like that. So my expectations for most anime, it's whimsical stuff or very fantasy-like and not much depth in story. Of course, that is not true at all, because I've seen other anime that Age has recommended to me before. One of them is Jinro, which is an amazing anime, which I'm going to be reviewing in another video. But this one, it's actually a biographical film. It's actually a true story. Kind of, because it does take its freedoms a bit. But the movie is about a young boy who is an engineer, an aviation engineer, and he has dreams of flying planes. And all he dreams about is planes. That's his thing. That's what he likes. And it's a well-crafted story. It's very mature. This is not a movie that I think kids will primarily enjoy. I think this is a movie targeted at adults, at people who would actually sit down and watch a mature story. And by mature, I don't mean violence or gore or profanity, nothing like that. By that I mean a movie that takes its time to unravel, where you're seeing character development, where you're seeing things happen little by little, where characters, you know, you actually feel them. Like, there was a point where I was watching this movie and I forgot it was an animated film. I really did. That's how good it was. And one thing about the animation is that there's an attention to detail in every spot. It's very well animated, and I saw this in English. You can watch it in Japanese, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think you can, but I decided to watch it in the dub because I'm a lazy American. But I saw it in dub, and the dub was good. I liked the dub, and I also enjoyed the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this movie is very good, very had a classical tone. And it really relaxes you and gets you into the mood of this movie. But yeah, the story is about this boy who is an aviation engineer, and he's working for a company to design World War II planes, fighter planes. And the movie is based partially on a true story, because the story is about a young boy named Jiro. Damn, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Let me check my notes. Jiro Horikoshi, that's his name. And he existed, but they took liberties in this movie, because the true story of his, without ruining too much, his wife in this movie has tuberculosis. In real life, she never did. But it works towards the story. I mean, if you're going to judge a film based on its inaccuracies, you might as well start bashing other films like Gladiator or Braveheart, because they're completely inaccurate, yet they're very, very good movies. And that's the case with this movie. It's well crafted, well written, and it's sad that this is the last film by this director. In 2013, he decided to retire and not do any more animated films. And I do want to check his filmography, because if this movie is good, I want to see what else he has done in the past. I'm pretty sure he's done very good movies in the past. And another thing, this movie, curiously enough, it did well here in the States, but it did extremely well in Japan. It made, I think it made 11.6 billion Japanese yen, which is the equivalent of about $113 million. It's a lot of money, and it's the highest grossing film in Japan. That's amazing. And that's saying something, because this movie came out at the same time as Frozen. And Frozen got a lot more attention in the academies than this film. It actually lost to Frozen. I saw Frozen, and Frozen is not a bad movie. It's a good animated little film from Disney. But this movie was 20 times better than Frozen. I'm sorry, it is. It's a movie that is, I'm telling you, it really got into the characters, into the story. There is a sense of, how do I put it? Maturity. You really do care about these characters. Another thing that might turn people off a little bit is the fact that there's a lot of smoking in this movie. It's a lot of smoking. And I'm assuming that it's trying to be very accurate to the time period, because during the 40s, a lot of people were smoking, and it was just very, very common. From young age to adults, it was just very, very common. So that might turn off people a little bit. Even the director was bashed for this, and the director, who he mentioned that he's a pacifist, that he was not really in favor of doing much war into this film, because the movie is not really about the war. It's really about the character creating these fighter planes that would actually be used in war, but never do you see any real bombings. You do see some dream sequences where he is dreaming about bombs falling, but other than that, there's really no gore. It's really a story about, it's dialogue and stuff going on, but there's really no violence. So if you're worried about showing this movie to a kid, if he's above the age of 13, I think this movie's fine. The only problems is that you do see some people with tuberculosis, primarily his wife, but other than that, it's a very good movie. I highly recommend this movie. I didn't check out the bonus features, but it has a behind the scenes. It says behind the microphone. It's an inside look at the team and talented actors and filmmakers who created the English dub version of The Wind Rises. And I have to say, the dub is very good. I usually don't like dubbed films. I rarely, if ever, will watch a movie dubbed. Not necessarily I like reading. I don't like reading, but I like hearing the original audio. And the rare occasion where I'll watch something dubbed, it's a Jackie Chan movie, because Jackie Chan typically dubs his movies. But in the case of this movie, the dubbing is very good. I like the actors they chose for these voices. So definitely a movie I recommend. Check it out. If anybody knows about the director's filmography or any other movies like this, please recommend, because I really enjoyed this movie. Leave it on the description down below. And if you have any other suggestions, whether it be for anime or for any other films, please leave it on the description down below, and I'll review it on the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I definitely enjoyed this movie. I'm definitely going to be getting this on Blu-ray. So until next time, bye.